Alex and his team were using this as a reference for a lot of the topics. At least, I mean, obviously we had to go in a lot more depth to build it on the system, but he kept talking about how great this book is. Like, man, he's like, Justin did a great job with this stuff. There's no other way to, there's nowhere else we could find it where anybody explains any of this stuff in any kind of real concrete detail.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the challenges of the teaching linguistic courses, is that there's no great content for this stuff online that's actually having students work through step by step through the computations. Now you might, there's plenty of stuff online that discusses like decision trees, discusses neural nets and whatever, but the vast majority is just a kind of this top down view of either here's the recipe, here's the steps to how you build this, now go ahead and build it. Or they might just say like import library, run library, like
import library, press play, or press run.
yeah. And so there's really little that steps through the math beforehand. And on the rare occasion that you find a problem that does step through the math beforehand, it's usually something it's usually geared more toward like machine learning theory. And it's like, prove this aspect about neural nets or decision trees. And you're just like, can I just get a problem where I just like work through like just backprop on a simple case so I understand it? Because like these symbols are not like, I need some concrete numbers to help me understand.
Intuition. So intuition comes from repetition, right? I remember just that phrase popped in my head when we were driving. So this was in October. Alex and I and his wife Cremi and Sandy, we were at your wedding in South Bend, Indiana, and we were driving back to the O'Hare Airport to fly back. They were flying back to the UK, and we're flying back to LA, and we were talking about this stuff, and he said something about people, because people are like, I don't want to do so many problems. I just want like a conceptual thing. I want an intuitive understanding. It's like, intuition is the result of intuition. Intuition is a result of repetition. You have to do reps. That's where the intuition comes from. Me or anybody explaining something to you that feels intuitive, you don't have the intuition. You have to earn intuition. Intuition is earned through pain, through failure, through suffering, through trial and error. That's where your intuition comes from. You don't want to suffer, but you don't get intuition. And so, and that's something that we, obviously you want to limit the suffering. Like, let's just do the things and go through repetitions. It's like, okay, trial, error, okay. Oh, right. I made a mistake there. Right. Okay. Right. I see how this works. You do enough of the reps, whether it's shooting free throws or doing math problems or whatever. It's like you have to get the reps in, you get the intuition. But then when you get the intuition, then you can really understand how this stuff works, and you can actually solve challenging problems. Because until you have the intuition, it's hard to really see your way through innovative solutions. There's just nothing to work with.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, just to give one example to this concrete example, is exploding gradients in neural nets and vanishing gradients. So because the students were working out backprop by hand, they would see actually, like, every time they take the derivative of something, if that derivative is much less than one, and they're compounding it over and over, multiplying over and over, it eventually like just dies, comes down to zero. Everything just comes down to zero. There's like no signal's lost.
Right.
Meanwhile, if the derivative is always like much greater than one, then it's exploding. Right. Like that's why certain activation functions work well or don't work well. They were able to see that not just at a top level of like, oh, I use this activation function and the numbers came out weird. They were actually able to see the mechanics of what is happening to cause this weirdness, and they could tell right away, like, I just noticed that like this number multiplied by this other number, the quantity is increasing. When's it going to stop increasing? Never. So yeah,
we have to have a dampening effect.
Yeah,
we have to have the dampening the magnitudes of these things as they start to get out, and they're compressing them. So but what's great is you scaffold them up and they work through these projects and they run into these problems and they suffer. Like, what are we supposed to do? You're like, what do you think we should do? And we have to wait in, like, like, okay, well, there's something here's
Yeah.
what, but yeah, they like, so you kind of lead them down that path. What's one great about projects is you can kind of lead them down a path to where they kind of understand the necessity for
Yeah.
doing certain things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then as you kind of go down that path with them, you get a better sense of how to steer them towards developing the same intuitions through repetitions, but having there be less potholes that they fall into, and just like hitting on the essential repetitions as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I wanted to go, but yeah, so the Eurisco, you did that. You taught that for 3 years or
Yeah,
three. So you have
yeah,
many,
2020 to 23.
yeah, and multiple classes
Hmm.
and multiple groups of students. So you really got we had a range of sort of aptitudes and I mean, obviously at the high end, but then you had like the super quants, and then you had students who could just barely kind of struggle their
Yeah,
way through it. Um, but that taught you where all the potholes were. It's like, okay, this is rough. We got to really expand this out. We got to smooth this out. We need we need more learning infrastructure here and all these different places. And, like you said, there was only so much you could do. And, at the time we had talked a little bit about like building into the system, but that was just like complete, even for someone as crazy as me, that was unrealistic. We weren't going to have time to do that. It's like, okay, well, at some point.